wonder if the game is being captured 60 FPS. Might be, might not be. So I think we can load special content. That's the plan. That's escapades, maybe? Alright, let's do this one. I'm gonna eat breakfast though. We got some pork cutlet and rice stuff. I'm gonna pray for our food. Look at my priceless treasure now. Myself, I scrubbed and scrubbed. But the odor of meat will never be repelled from this resplendent surface again. But you have it back in your possession at least. You should be grateful, you old man. How dare you! Excuse me, but I'd like to get that Sabaton cushion there if I could. Rest assured, you miserable military malefactor, this is not over. Incarceration awaits those who defraud a senior citizen for his priceless treasures. Watch your tongue, old man. Mark my words, I won't. Sorry, Sergeant, but could I just get that Sabaton cushion there as well? I won't go to jail. Never. Imagine if I did. The very next day, my boy will starve without chain of command in place to provide for him. Using the child to protect yourself? Myself, I call that abstinent cowardice. Oh, really? And who just employed the old poor defenseless senior citizen tactic, huh? The only way to fight an enemy who's using underhand tactics is a tit-for-tat strategy. Sorry to interrupt again, but I just need that Western-style cushion there on the sofa. I'm not getting what Ryunosuke is really asking for right here. Why does he want all these cushions? Is it for, like, pillow fort? Enough of this insubordination. What do you want, man? Don't mind me. Haha! Do my eyes deceive me, or is this the wide-eyed criminal from the trial before? Wide-eyed? Perhaps, but criminal? No. What is this unhealthy fascination you exhibit with seating arrangements of others, huh? Why are you peering under the cushion of this upholster seat? Well, the thing is... Did you find it? Or did you find it? Sadly not. I don't think it's here, Kazuma. You really are a liability, Ryunosuke. Report at once. Have you lost something? Is that it? Yes, we were on our way to a party to celebrate my friend's victory here when I realized that my university pin badge was missing. A university pin badge, you say? It's from my collar here, you see. Affirmative. Uniforms must be kept in prime condition at all times, and missing badge is unacceptable. Doubt if I looked around, it'd probably turn up somewhere. Like the old tale of the Koban coin in the stake. A bearable which I am acutely aware. But I've exhausted my search now, really. The only logical conclusion is that someone must have stolen it. Don't look at me. I don't just find any old metal objects irresistible, you know? Imagine what would happen if little Trooper Ido was swallowed something like that. I'm afraid we have to give up, Ryunosuke. Still, if you tell the office your student number, they should be able to reissue you with a new one. What's the matter? Don't tell me. I don't remember my student number. I don't believe it. This is the second time you've lost your badge, isn't it? Third, actually. If you didn't think you could remember it, you should have made a note of it somewhere. I told you that until I was blue in the face last time this happened. Yeah, I do remember someone telling me something along those lines. It was you, isn't it? You can't even remember who told you that you needed to remember it? Well, student numbers are 6 digits, Kazuma. You could remember 6 whole digits. Yume isn't exactly a long-established university. All our numbers are still rather low. In fact, they only use the last 3 digits. Well, that might help, I suppose. That might help? Unosuke, it's only 3 digits you need to remember. Just 3. Sorry, my brain is such a disappointment. Yes, well, anyway, young man, I was greatly impressed with you in the courtroom today. You mean me? A lawyer already before you're even graduated. Such a loyal friend to this one. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh no, I still have much to learn. In fact, that was brought home to me in no uncertain terms only last year. My Achilles heel was spectacularly exposed by my best friend here. Indeed. What? Huh? Yes, by Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You hadn't forgotten, Charlie. It was last summer, at the speech contest. The speech contest? Oh, that. Contestants had to take the stage and deliver a public address on any subject they chose. We were competing to give the most compelling, powerful speech, and yours was great. It made a huge impression on the audience. Obviously, since I was a budding student of law, I was determined to win. And sure enough, one by one my opposition fell, and when I reached the final at last, I came up against you. So you did, not being rude, but when I first laid eyes on you, I thought to myself, this cheeky wide-eyed no-hoper is out of his depth. He's gonna be a pushover. That's your version of not being rude, is it? Well, I paid for my complacency, because it brought on that humiliating defeat. Defeat? How are your ranks compromised? The speech was going very well. I had the audience in the palm of my hand, and they hung on to my every word, and then, when I came to my very last line... What happened at the very last line? It was supposed to be a climactic end. Unfortunately, I completely fouled it up. Never. You mean you stumble on your words? Spectacularly. Even now, I can't believe I ruined it. What on earth did you say, man? Ryunosuke, you'd better say it. I still can't get my tongue around it. Sure, of course, I could still... What you said at the end of your speech, or rather, what you intended to say at the end of your speech, was this. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud your forefathers' plight and fight for filial piety. What went wrong? What indeed. Myself, I see no problem with the pronunciation of these paltry words. In that case, old man, I invite you to say it yourself. Very well, then. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the flight of the filial... Impossible! The horizon, ladies and gentlemen, part I delivered perfectly. But the next part had me floundering for a whole 5 minutes. By the end of it, I was on my knees in front of the podium and blabbering. Made a tongue twister? That's funny. That's when the audience started to heckle you. Heckle you. Rise, rise, they were shouting. But then, of course, this man went and delivered his word-perfect speech with a perfect ending. How did it go again? Let me see. My dear fellows, the message is simple. Treat your father and mother with respect. Something like that? I mean, talk about saying the obvious, but the fact is I lost that speech. Tongue-tied is the only way to describe it. Well, it's quite tricky to say, I agree. That final fight for filial piety, especially. And ever since that day, I had this question whirling around my head. Why did our forefathers choose such an awkward phrase? Was it to mock their children? I mean, it should never have been called filial piety. Ugh. That's the ending of that. In the flirt phase. At least you're going to Great Britain soon. Might not come up much there. Well, anyway, having lost that accursed contest, I came after you to ask you a question. How's it that you never trip up on your words? I inquired. You just gave me a broad smile and said, speaking fast is my hobby. I mean, really? What kind of hobby is that? Think you could take your hand off of your sword? Besides, it's just a way to pass the time. After that, you started talking to me 10 to the dozen like you were possessed almost. Honestly, you can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't. You're right, I really can't. Speaking fast is the sort of hobby I expected a civilian like you to waste his time on. Well, you had to practice, of course, but there's some simple things to start with, like this famous one, for example. Swift samurai sword swiped silently sideways. Yes, even a decrepit tongue and an ailing frame such as mine can find its way around that one. I have no doubt, it's just a bit of fun, really. I can't imagine anyone would struggle to say it. Isn't that right, Kazuma? Swift samurai sword. Ugh. A blabbering mess by word too. It's not the samurai. As a samurai, every good soldier needs to be able to handle a sword. That's why I've been busy teaching Ido the finer points of swordplay. Now this wordplay nonsense. Private. Come to think of it, not long after that we started to attend lectures together, didn't we? And we got into that debate about family values at the sukiyaki place on campus, do you remember? Yeah, your argument was full of jokes and puns and wordplay, as usual. I remember it well. Was it? In any case, I swear I would never let myself forget the shock you gave me back then. And as a symbol of how seriously I took that oath, I decided to wear this, my red Hachimaki headband. And there's a secret win in the back. Kazuma? You lost me there, I'm afraid. I don't see the link. What does your red headband have anything to do with your oath? Because it'll always remind me of that smug look on your face as you uttered those tantalizing words. What words? You mean another tongue twister? I practiced and practiced until my tongue bled, but in the end I mastered it. Mastered what? I think it's time you heard this, actually. Listen carefully. Here it goes. Red headband, lead headband, dead headband. There, word perfect, see? What's the story behind your headband, I mean? Well, you know, now that I never forget the shocking humiliation of that day, that's why I wear this red headband every single day without fail. Well, I don't know exactly how much of a shock you think you had back then, but it can't be more than a shock you've just given me right now. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the tongue twister I said didn't go the way you seem to remember it. Huh? It's just as famous as... It goes red bedpan, lead breadpan, dead breadman. Red bed, red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Wait, what? But, it seems I knocked someone out of that headband of yours. It's not too late, Private. You could always start wearing a red bread pan on your head instead. What? Your youthful vigor is manifest, young man. Geeks are machi something. There's so many words have to be so similar. So look forward to Great Britain then. So looking forward to Great Britain then? Where you have to deliver speeches in court in English? I suppose I can always shell the shit cells on this sheet.